Hello, everybody, and real quick before we get going, we got to give a huge shout out to our Patreon subscribers. We're a huge shout out to Tony, Starla, Sam, Luke, Jacob, and Tyler. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. And listen, if you want to help support the podcast, throw $1 at our face, you can join right now using promo code AITD50. That's AITD50 for 50% off your first month. Come join. You only have till this Friday. After that, the code is expiring. So come join. Come hang out with us. See all the extra content we're currently putting out on our Patreon. And yeah, we love you guys. We love everybody out there. Like I said last week, and I'm not going to fuck it up this time, our Patreon members are the engine to this machine. You guys help the wheels go round.
The wheels of the All-In Nation coming out. How about that? I just had to throw it in there.
Fucking right. But guys, today we're going to be talking about just a bunch of stuff that's going on right now. You know, some UPS stock. The stocks is a big topic right now. And obviously UPS is a big marketer in the stock. I don't know if that's even the right term, but we're going to be talking UPS stock. Yeah, it's close enough. People knew what I meant. We're going to be talking about drivers that, become supervisors or shouldn't become supervisors. Or maybe they went from
supervisors.
Or they went from wanting to be a supervisor, couldn't be a supervisor 2 weeks later, or maybe 2 days later, want to be a shop steward, or vice versa. Like, what are we doing? Also, Luke's got a Rocky story that he's going to tell. And also, of course, we're going to end it with the question of the week, as always. So, everybody, here is episode 146. Let's go. We got to this one address. I said, this one goes around back. He went around back, boom, drove off, left them right at the stop.
That was after getting hit by a car.
You got hit by a car?
I ended up drinking 24 Bud Lights in about 48 minutes. Drunken nomad stumbles out in the road and he hit me going 30 miles an hour.
What's up, everybody, and thank you for joining us on this episode of All in the Delivery, episode 146. And also, one thing I forgot to mention off the top, we also got the Discord going. There's still people joining every day on this Discord community, loving it. We got on-road pictures coming in. Not on-road supervisors, but like on the road, on the route pictures, We don't care what your supervisors look like. It's a good time over there. It was hopping the other morning. Everybody was chiming in the other morning on there. So listen, join the link. It's in the episode show notes of this episode. So you can scroll down where you're listening. You can find the link right down there. Also find the link for the Patreon too, like I mentioned, AITD Pod 50. Use that promo code till this Friday. Guys, let's go across to the right side of my screen here. Joining us, my co-host down in West by God, Virginia, Luke. How are you, buddy?
Well, brother, I told you I had a surprise for you right before we started recording. And I'll tell you right now, I could talk about my almost 13-hour day I had yesterday prior to recording. I could talk about there's been a lot of tension in my building. And, that's compelling stuff, and we got some stuff we're going to talk about later. So this all gets trumped to what I just discovered literally right before we recorded. So it's been some episodes back. But, I showed these old pictures that I have as I record in my basement, and being that where I have this tote of old pictures and shit is right where I record, and especially right now, as I feel like it's a broken record that I've been saying for episode after episode now. Eventually, my electric is going to get completed, and this place will be restored. But right now, I'm kind of smushed into a corner, like a fucking sardine can. So I'm showing Dave. We were talking about. We were just talking about sports stuff and just random stuff that we were putting out before. We've been recording the past few episodes for the Patreon to get the extra content before we get on.
Yeah.
So I showed him this old picture of me when I was playing. I'm assuming I think it was C-ball, where
Not
but
T-ball.
It wasn't T-ball. We had
C?
T-ball, C. We had a C-ball. Yeah, we had 2 years of T-ball. Then
The hell
C-ball
is
was
C-ball?
We had a pitching machine that pitched like you didn't have a live pitcher yet, but you had a pitching machine, and they would pitch you the ball like that. And obviously, the pitching machine wasn't fucking like cranked. You know what I mean? It wasn't like we were getting fucking
Throwing
90
mile an hour fastballs.
Yeah, like but and then
7-year-olds.
but there were some little leagues in the county that the coaches would pitch, but like for us, we use pitching machines. But
Interesting.
that was like the step in between T-ball and then like would be B-ball and A-ball, which was just little league till you were 12, I think.
Right. So like us, like we had T-ball, and then we had like what we would call minor league, and the minor league is where the coaches would pitch to the kids.
I gotcha.
And then we had little league, where we had the actual kids pitching to each other. You know what I mean? So that's why you threw me off. You're like,
they still called it they still called it little league here.
Yeah.
But when I played like B-ball and A-ball of little league, like B-ball was basically the JV team, if you will, and the A-ball was it was supposed to be probably the more talented kids, but there's a lot of coaches' favoritism, as I'm sure I'm just so looking forward to that when I get to. You're just cracking into youth sports, so you're ahead of me, but you're just touching the surface. But
yeah,
let me get back to what I was saying with this picture I found. So you remember the gem of the story I told you a while back when I was a kid, and I beat the shit out of this kid with cowboy boots. You remember that story? I'm sure you probably remember this one.
Yeah.
Well, buddy,
come on,
this picture.
Come on.
That's me. That's me.
Are those the cowboy boots?
Those are the cowboy boots, dude. Those are it. Look at them motherfuckers. Coal black. They're even black, so if they got bloody, you wouldn't even know. Dude. Yes. One more time. I'll show it to you with a full picture one more time. Oh, the ring light's getting it. But yeah, that is...
Those look like some serious boots.
Dude, I put them things off and was hitting that kid with the heels of it, just beating his ass. I'm assuming I've probably told that story on here before.
I don't know.
Man.
I don't know if you have.
Well, I was thinking the only reason that I probably haven't is because it has kind of a sad reasoning for it, but it all ended up kind of being a misunderstanding. But I'll just go ahead and throw it in here real quick. Why not?
Throw it in there.
This is so I've talked about, my mother passed away when I was young. And so I was 5 when she is the crazy thing, as just weird to talk about it, because as this episode gets released, her anniversary of her passing would be the day before, because it was April 13th. But needless to say, I was an angry kid because of I was an angry kid when I was young, and but I was also big, I was a big kid, so I was bigger than a lot of kids my age too, and I got so basically this would have been, I was probably I had to be like first grade, somewhere around that. And so we would have, because this thing says Small World on it. And Small World was a daycare, a preschool that I'd went to, and some kids that would go to the elementary school some would go there after school to wait for their parent, just like how you do with Xander now. It was just still the preschool. And well, dude, it was like I had a kids would, I don't want to say, looking back on it now, I don't think, kids can obviously be cruel, but I feel like they might have said stuff to me more to get a rise out of me because I would go nuts. But this one little boy, you got to remember this is a different time, and you're gonna fucking realize this is a different time because nobody got in trouble here. My dad never got sued, and you're gonna find out in a minute why. And it was so apparently it was like, from what I can, like, it was a thing because when the teachers like talked to me about it, it was like this. I think this kid told his dad that I was a bully, but I really wasn't a bully, man. I was just a troubled fucking kid, and if shit got said to me, well, anyway, I guess his dad, he told him to, punch a kid. You can punch him in the stomach or something like it. But I don't know if that was like, I think he had permission to fucking, if he got bullied, to, stand up for himself. I feel like most parents would probably do. And I got, I don't know if he had said, I don't even think he may have said something to me, but he may, whatever, kids. It's hard to fucking say. We were young as shit. So whatever it was, but I went at him, and the kid hit me in the stomach. And I dropped, stomach shot when you're not ready for it. And this is where I will say this in a laughing matter because, man, I wasn't a bully, and that kid made a mistake. And, so the whole time, as I do now as an adult, man, I fucking, I'll dwell. And this was like the end of the school year. So this was like summertime, kind of like, May, almost the time we're in now. And I wanted to wear these cowboy boots. And because even as a kid, I knew, like, you just saw those things. I knew I was like, if I kick somebody with these, it's going to hurt. And I've said to my dad, like, I kept saying I wanted to wear my cowboy boots, and he was like, "No, you don't want to do that because it was warm out. I was going to have to wear jeans. Like, you're not wearing cowboy. You're going to get too hot. You're not going to want them." I just insisted.
Of course, like, dude, kids do.
And I ended up wearing the cowboy boots. And when I went after school, I went directly to that kid and just started beating his ass. I took one of them off and just started fucking wailing on him. And I remember somebody grabbed me, like one of his buddies maybe would have grabbed me, and I bit their fucking arm. And I can remember that kid when I was hitting him with that cowboy boot, fucking yelling. And I was whipping his ass. And dude, and I was like I said, it's a different time because could you imagine if that happened today? Like, dude, you're paying fucking legal fees for the rest of your life. You're getting sued. That family's fucking living off you for the rest of your life. And all it fucking said was my dad and the fucking other, and it was just like, oh man, probably. Sorry, my son probably deserved it, kind of thing, I guess. I don't know.
Just boys being boys. That's,
nothing ever happened, but man, I whipped that dude. And I always think, I'm like, I wonder if because I don't remember his name. I can remember the time. And I always wonder, like, Ashley's obsessed with it because she's like, I wish I knew who it was. I was like, I wonder if that stuck with them because, man, I'm talking.
Probably.
Wailed. Like, that kid was screaming. You think of the back of a fucking heel of a cowboy boot getting hit with, dude. I was swinging for the fences with that thing. And so, I have, but yeah, I just always thought, like, man, you got to make sure if you say a bully, it's just not it's not, I wasn't a bully, man, but I was just a fucking, dude, it's just so crazy. That picture popped up. I've seen that years ago. I didn't realize I still had that circulation, but the fucking cowboy boots.
It's crazy.
The cowboy boots are there. Indeed, yeah. I just want to go back to this one more time that not anything, no consequence of any kind got done from this other than getting talked to. And I think they were probably, I told Ashley, I was like, my dad was probably like fucking nervous because he's probably like, that fucking kid was just adamant on wearing those cowboy boots. And I kept saying, it's too hot. You're going to be sweaty. And he just
kept saying he wanted to. And now I understand why.
Well, the funny thing was when we had to get like talked to, I can remember saying, because they were like, you didn't mean like so. So terrible because I was like 6, but I'm like they were like I could remember like
you didn't mean to do it.
School counselor like you didn't want to hurt him, and I was like, oh no, I did. I was like, yeah, I did.
Fuck.
They're probably like, all right, we're gonna have to put this kid in a fucking straight jacket. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't make fun of fucking people that have mental illness, but man, yeah, I'm sorry. I had
a month's worth of detention here.
Man, dude, and then didn't just say one more story that happened a couple years later in elementary school. And I think I've told you this before, just of the different times me and the kid got in a fight, and I hit him in the head with a pencil box, and the pencil box was back when I was in elementary school, you'd have these hard plastic pencil boxes that you'd open and close.
They still do.
And all
Xander has one. And so as soon as you said it, I pictured his pencil box.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Just know if them things break, just know if they break, man, that plastic got an edge, because
it's sharp.
I hit this fucking kid with it and just sliced his fucking head open. What happened was we both went to the principal's office and waited for our parents to pick me up, and never got suspended, just went back to school the next day.
Oh my God.
Different fuck. Yeah, man. I'm like, man, my dad, he really lucked out that we were still in the old school days back then. There'd be shit.
That's wild, dude.
Dude, yeah. I've always laughed about the cowboy boot story. I know it's not really that funny because of the backstory of it, but you got to remember too, this was a long time ago, and I've accepted of a lot of things of my childhood. And one thing I've told people, because one thing I don't want to say I can't stand, but I don't like when people try to use certain things that happen in their life of a tragedy of a loved one lost as an anchor to a negative, because they wouldn't want you to do that. Like I've always thought that with my mother. I'm like, she wouldn't want me to be resentful, or like when I was in school, do something shitty and be like, well, my mom passed away. My mom, you know what I mean? Like she wouldn't fucking, they don't want, you gotta, I mean, that's a hard, I'll just go ahead and end it with this note, because I'd had a funeral. This is actually kind of work related, because going to the funeral home on Monday, and I tried to get some pickups moved off of me. I was just trying to get to the viewing, and it was late, and I ended up making it, but I didn't get them pickups removed. I was a little mad about that, but what can we say? But just to say, for any listeners that are around the same age as Dave and I, I've had a lot of friends in recent years with, nobody wants to think about when they lose a parent, because it is tough. And the thing with me now, I can say, with being the age that I am now and seeing my friends, like it's not easy growing up when you lose a parent when you're a kid. I'm not trying to downplay that, but the grieving process, like I can't, like with my dad, my dad's still living, and it's going to, if the One thing I've also learned is you never know. My dad may outlive me. I hope not for his sake, because I know he'd hate that. But you never know when your time's up. But my friends now losing their parents, it's for anybody that's lost a parent when they're young, but you're old enough to remember them. I feel like for me, and I've talked to a couple other people, it's kind of like it feels like a dream almost. More like I remember the sound of my mom's voice, and I remember her laugh, and I remember a lot of things about her. But the time that we had spent feels like it was a dream more than reality.
Mm.
But like it, it is just. I guess what I'm getting at is the grieving part. Losing parents when you're older, not everybody has a good relationship with their parents. And for those people that don't, I'm not going to try to be Dr. Phil here and tell you to mend fences, even though if there's any possibility, you should always try. But it is, it's tough and it's hard and I can't really explain it to just because I can say I lost a parent, I did when I was a kid, and it's totally different. Like, I can't explain what they're going through, but the only thing I can say, and I want to end it with this on that, is that every beginning has an end. Everybody's life, no matter what, one day we're all going to be there. So I don't want to make it sound like you have to say, "Oh, well, fuck it. Is what it is." I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's better to make the memories you have and to live life and enjoy moments as much as you can, of the time that you have, rather it's, 5 years or 50 years, however long just is, it, it makes it tough, but at the end, and that's like one thing because I don't have to go through that, at least not in this, not with my mother anyway. And it just is, yeah, man, it's kind of, and to leave it on a positive note, you just got to enjoy the time that you spend, especially, because your parent, I mean, you're only a couple years younger than me. I'm not trying to be grim, but people our age, if you have parents, they're getting older. So you want, as long as you spend the time that you have, like as much time as you can, and make it, and just make the memories when you can make them, and enjoy the time you can. Because if you worry about that too much, the end, then you're just gonna fucking worry yourself when time you're wasting. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of what I was meaning to say. Is that part's inevitable, but. Man, I didn't mean to go so deep on that, but I feel like I had to. I couldn't. I had to. I mean, I think just the timing, because the 13th was at least to throw that tidbit. I've always wanted to say that, at least. I don't know if I've ever went that detail on the podcast, and I've wanted to say it on my own page on Instagram too, because I've unfortunately had to experience that more with friends of mine losing their parents, and it's making me realize too, like, the time you have is so important, because it's just, until it just, yeah, man, it's it's a tough subject, but nobody, it's you can still spend time and be positive with it, but just don't, death and taxes, in the stock market.
The stock market.
Oh,
but
man.
I mean, I know we kind of skipped this, but how was your past week?
God, we did kind of skip it. I mean, I could,
That's all right.
like I said, it was, I had a 12 and a half hour day yesterday,
Yeah.
and Monday would have probably been a 12. I cut my break Monday and busted my asses. I worked very unsafe, because my numbers were high. I worked very, very, very fucking unsafe, because I wanted to make sure I got to the funeral home. That was an important thing for me to get to.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, I can say for me, they've been keeping me right. Other than, I mean, it's just a classic. I've got 2 days where I've been pretty fucking heavy, and the other 3 I was like right at 9.5, like 10 minutes
Normal,
under. Yeah, just they've got me pretty solid dispatch to because I don't mind, they know this. So I don't care to say this on here if any of them are listening, but I'm the only income in my household right now, so I don't mind some overtime. I'm basically on the 9-5 list and not work 12 and a half hours every day.
Right.
But if I got to throw one in here and there, I'm not going to. I did not realize that once all the shit I had, you know how it is when you have stuff on dead end roads and you have like stops at the very end and you got to go all the way in and all the way out. And it
Yep.
was like when I got back in from whenever I called you and I got back in out of that area that I lose service on and out in the sticks. And when I got back in and I just looked at I scanned my next stop when I went and I looked and I was like, oh, fuck. Because then I thought, I was like, I never asked for any help or anything. I was like, I'll be late. But then I looked and I was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to get fucking done. I was at 35 minutes away from maxing the DOT, and there were 2 fucking drivers still out after me. That's what was crazy. I wasn't even the last one in.
Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a busy week. It was a busy fucking week.
Yeah, I mean, I know a few people saw the how I shared the post because last Sunday, it was like a last minute thing, but I ended up taking me and my boy, well, my oldest, down to the Mets game, down to Citi Field to see the Mets play, and that was a good start to like the new week. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
And like,
dude.
like that was pretty awesome because so I mean, like, I'll try to just make it quick, but
Nah,
but
this
you
was a
know,
big moment,
me
man.
like
Take your time. It's a good one.
like
Father
me
son first game. Sorry, go ahead.
oh yeah, oh well yeah, I mean there's totally that
That's
too,
a fucking
and
moment
like
there.
like so you want to go back even further, like I remember the first time I ever went to a legit baseball game with my dad to like the old Shea Stadium where the Mets used to play, and like I have some memories of that still like in my head, and so like what was funny about the whole situation is like my oldest Xander. Everybody knows I'm a big hockey guy. If you've been listening to the podcast long enough, you know I'm a big hockey guy. And I'd put hockey on the TV, and Xander would be like watching it a little bit here and there. But then if I were to put like baseball on the TV, I notice he's even more glued to it than he would be watching the hockey game. So I found that very interesting. And so like he's starting to like really get into it, and I noticed that, and he said the one time he's like, "Ah, Dad, I want to go to a baseball game." I was like, "Yeah, we'll see what we can do. We'll see." And so my wife had plans like all day, so I had both of my boys, and we were like, what do we want? What do we want to do today? Mom's out of the house. It's a dad day right now. Like, what do you guys
Right.
want to do today? And I checked the Mets schedule, and sure as shit, they had like a 1:40 game down at Citi Field, which is about a 2-hour drive from us. And so I was like, boys, like, you guys want to go to the baseball game? And of course Xander like lit up like immediately. He was like, yeah, like
Right.
he was all into it, and then but my youngest was like, no, he was like, nah. He was like, I want to go to Target. Like the kid is obsessed with Target for some odd reason. He's obsessed with Target. He's
Yeah,
like,
dude.
I was like, what, dude? I was like, you'd rather go to Target? And he was like, yeah. I was like, why don't we go to Target? We could buy some Mets shirts, and then we go down to the Mets game.
I mean,
He
you
was like,
can't.
no, I don't want to go to the baseball game.
You
I was
can't
like,
be
fuck.
getting City Field. You can't be getting groceries and clothes and video games all in the same place. So
Right.
he's got to target some big competition right now.
Exactly, dude. So like, I was like, fuck. And so then like, I was thinking about it. So like, I ended up calling my mother-in-law, and I was like, hey, like, do you have plans today? And she was like, no. I was like, hey, listen, I was like, Xander really wants to go to the baseball game. And I was like, Danielle's doing this right now. Like, do you mind taking my son for a few hours? He's like, do you mind taking Grant for a few hours and just so keep him occupied so I can take Xander to the baseball game? She was like, yeah, totally. So I was like, Grant, get dressed. We're going over to Yaya's house. And he was super stoked. And she spoiled the shit out of him. Like that day, took him bowling, took him to the arcade, took him to Target, like
Nice.
everything. Yeah, you know what I mean? Just like the kids still got to go to Target. But and she just spoiled him. And then, I last minute bought tickets to the Mets game. And then Xander and I drove 2 hours down to Citi Field. And the kid loved it. Like and he hasn't stopped asking to go again, which is awesome. And so it's exciting. And like I said at the top of this whole thing, like I still have memories of me and my dad going. And like I hope Xander remembers remembers that moment for like the rest of his life. Because I mean, I know I will, obviously, taking him to his first Mets game. And I mean, I think I got a baseball fan in the works over here, so let's
dude.
let's go.
I told you, I think he'll remember because he's old. Because I remember I was young. I was probably around his age. I went to my first baseball game with my dad. Because I told you, Barry Bonds, Pittsburgh Pirates. I was so close to getting a home run ball, man. And I told Dave, and I'm not joking when I say this. It literally landed to the man right next to me. It was clean. He didn't reach over. It was literally, he actually, if anything, veered more to the left, and I was standing to his right. But my dad, I've told him, like when Barry Bonds broke old Big Mac single season home run record and then got the all time, I told my dad, I was like, God, you're 6'5". That old man wasn't much taller than me. He could have just reached his big ass arm over there and snagged that ball. He wouldn't even had to lean over, man. He could have just stuck his arm out and then just handed it to me. That old man would have. See, we didn't know what Barry Bonds was going to be. We didn't know. God, I always think about that. I'm like, man, I could have had a fucking Barry Bonds home run ball. Fuck me. But yeah, but yeah, dude, those are big moments, man. And that's awesome that you guys were able to, and it's cool too, because obviously, like you told me on the phone, if Grant wanted to go, obviously you would have taken Grant and it would have been all three of you. Yeah. But I said, it's really cool with Xander being so into baseball right now. And Grant will probably follow suit, I would say, in a couple of years.
And real quick too, like he told Danielle, because when Danielle got home later that evening and then me and Xander got back home, like Danielle was like, why didn't you want to go with Dada? And she and he was like, because you weren't good, you weren't there, Mama. So now Grant's ready to go. As long as if Danielle goes, you know what I mean? He's a mama's boy. Like that's,
hey man,
that's it.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, but yeah, dude, it's good. Like you said, us talking on the phone about it, because, sometimes the older child may feel like they're not getting as much attention because you have a younger kid, and so it was good to, just have a him and, me and him time, and all that. So it was awesome. It was a good time. The traffic getting out of there sucked, dude. What happened was there was, dude,
I could fucking
at
imagine.
the one parking lot where we were at, there was an accident that happened right in front of the exit.
Oh,
dude, we were stuck in this parking lot for 45 minutes, bro. Stuck in the car. And Xander's just I need to pee. And luckily there was porta potties in the parking lot. So I just literally pulled out of the line and pulled into a random parking spot over there next. It was just, God.
Man,
but now we would take the train down to Grand Central Station, and then take the LIR, the Long Island Railroad, the LIRR, out from Grand Central to Citi Field, because that goes right to Citi Field. It would be much more easier.
Would that be a lot shorter of a trip?
It would actually be a little bit longer, believe it or not.
Oh, no shit.
Okay. Yeah. So
but then you don't have to worry about a car accident in front of an exit though either.
Yeah.
So, man, I can't imagine that was the fucking timing.
Yeah. And then I could have a couple beers if I want, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
oh
I could have a
yeah.
drink if I wanted to,
Oh
too.
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe, yeah. Like I still want to take him to the city and shit too. Like I still want to take him down to New York City, and he wants to go to New York City. And dude, it was so funny. Speaking of that, so because of the accident, I made a wrong turn, like coming out of the parking lot, and I ended up going like the scenic route home. So like it was taking us towards Manhattan. Like we were right outside of the city. Like,
Oh, nice.
and we actually drove through the Bronx. So like not only did Xander get to see Citi Field and actually go into Citi Field, we drove right by Yankee Stadium. And
Nice.
so yeah, and then so, we're like driving by, like we're right outside Manhattan, all of the tall buildings and shit over there. And then like Xander's like, whoa, because like this is the closest he's ever been to like Manhattan. And
Right.
he's like looking out the window, like all amazed and shit. And then he goes, hey dad. I was like, what? He goes, where's Spider-Man? I was, I was like,
Dude, incredible.
probably fighting crime right now, dude.
God.
He's probably saving the city right now. He's
And
like, no.
he's in the actual city too. That's what's
Yeah, oh
incredible,
yeah,
dude.
dude.
It's where
Yeah.
Spider-Man
It
would really
just
be. That's fucking
exactly. It
awesome.
just
God.
he just put it together in his head, and he's like, "Where's Spider-Man?" I was like, "Probably saving the city right
Oh,
now, dude."
dude. Or
Yeah, it
delivering
was funny.
pizzas. I told you, dude, I was watching the old trilogy, the Tobey Maguire trilogy on Netflix. And that
Yeah.
Pete, dude, that's a hell of all things to say, man. That's a solid. What a choice.
But
I
yeah, I
told.
mean, I ended up making this little picture, and I ended up putting this picture together, and I don't know if you can see it, but
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Got his Mets gear on.
Yeah,
Man, it's
yeah, dude.
crazy.
I
It's
dropped.
crazy how
I don't
big
even
he's
know how
getting.
much I dropped on. I did not want to look at my bank account.
Oh, dude. That's like I said though, man.
I was like, "Fuck."
That's a moment. That's a big moment. That's a big
Yeah,
moment to have.
yeah.
And
He didn't
fuck it.
have a Mets jersey or anything,
Mm-hmm.
but because we were there, of course, he was like, "I want to get I want to get a Mets jersey."
Right.
So go into the team store and buy him a Mets jersey. Bought him one of those foam fingers. I say, "Let's go Mets" on it, and it was awesome. So yeah. That was
Excuse
my
me.
last week, in which like I said, some people saw me share it on the story there, and it's. I mean, and talking with like Fernando earlier too on the phone, and even like Fernando said that it's we are all you know just doing it, you just taking life day one day at a time,
Yeah,
and
man. Shout out to you, Fernando Loaiza, my friend. I would God, was he a twice guest or just one time as a guest in the Christmas special? I can't remember.
no, we
He
had him
was
on
a
a separate
I
episode.
thought we did.
Yeah,
I thought he was a twice guest. But
yeah,
man, great good dude, man. It was so good to hear from him, man. Got to on
yeah.
I was about fucking on about my phone battery, dude. I can go for some reason it'll deplete when I'm on the phone, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to get off here and charge it when I was at like 30%, and I was on like 11%. But we got to a lot of stuff. Like we were even talking because I put this in here what Dave said with the stock. And Fernando and us were talking about because he told me he'd been investing for a while, and I'm not really I don't really want to go in too much of rather or not if you should, don't, whatever your amount, what you want to do. Everybody's business is everybody's business.
Mhm.
But I've started this year, and I want to give credit to my wife for really pushing this. And this is kind of like the first year I'm really trying. Like I've always bet for a long time. Don't bet like I did anymore because once you become the sole income and you add a kid in the mix, you don't really have the betting fund that I used to have has to go to other stuff now. So I also started trying to invest more into stocks, and we I've got a couple that I've put some aggressive spots into, but I'm with UPS I've been following, and we it's not as much now from the year because the time keeps moving forward, but our stock has dropped substantially from about March, April of last year to now, where it went from around 150 to less than 100 a share, which they're still doing good. Like on paper, they're still profiting plenty of money, but it's another thing that, because when we brought up Carol with like with we talked about her. We had made that on this episode because this got brought up. The reason I wanted to even bring up, because I'm not going to act like I know a lot about stock. I don't know shit. I'm very new with it, but it got brought up. It's been getting brought up at work, and I've been hearing a lot about it. Just the market in general, like Dave was saying in the intro. But I had to again say today, and we have to say on here, because when we talked about it, somebody said, and did you see, what she did at Home Depot, right? And I was like, fuck, I'm going to have to I have to fucking correct people now, because it's like, she could have done good for them, but what she does with cutting stuff isn't good for us union people. That's the point. Like, I had to
That's the
say,
difference.
I had to tell him, I'm like, listen, man, if you look it up, I was like, as I told him, I was like, Dave, the people that listen to the podcast know who Dave is. If they don't, I say Dave from the podcast. They know he's a driver. I'm like,
Yeah.
we looked it up. She didn't fucking run it into the ground. I was like, we have to fucking, you can't say that anymore because it's
ran
not
it
true.
down, but then turned it around.
Yeah. But
like she had a purpose.
She
completed.
But we've said in the past with cuts and automation and stuff for the side that we're on the fence, it's not probably going to be a good. I mean, that's why she's not that well liked, I think. But but just like with the stock, though, I don't know, like how far would it have to plummet? You think and I don't want to say plummet. It still does like. It's still higher than it was when I started, and like it was like $40 a share higher than when I started. So it's not like it's like really. But how far would it, do you think, would have? Because we've always heard these rumors now that the board of directors was going to vote her out anyway. That clearly hasn't been the case. So I mean, they also probably know a lot more than we do. Yeah. But what do you like? How far do you think? What point would it be? Would they be like, what? Wait a minute, because that's where the bulk of their money comes from, right? Like, especially like her too,
the investors.
Right? Yeah, like her salary. Like, if she made $27 million, I feel like not that most of that is in stock options. I believe when we look that up, right? So it's like. You would think these people would want it to drive to go up. I just don't know if it's like, I guess what I wanted to throw this out there for any listeners to, if you have any insight or idea, but it's like, how far would it go before they would be like something aggressive change would have to happen? That's all. There's not a lot. It's an ongoing question because we don't know. Right now, the stock market in general hasn't been doing very well. So it's not like that's not directed towards UPS. That is, with the trade wars going on and all this shit as we record, the market has not been. It's been in a volatile state to say the least. So UPS is just, it's been downtrending anyway, so that's where I've been kind of wondering, like, what the fuck here? I just want to make sure, like, I want it to be. I know it's probably not going to be like it was during COVID times, but damn, man, it's just like, I don't know, man. It doesn't feel good to me. It's just not a good. I've always said this with the contract. With our next contract, I'm so curious to how they're going to, because momentum just doesn't seem like it. Like, I can't. That'll be for another time. But as far as the stock goes, just if anybody has any thoughts, message the podcast page, and I'm just curious because I don't know enough about it to act like I know what I'm talking about. When something dips like 40% in a year, makes me think there would be an alarming, like, hey, what the fuck is going on kind of thing. But yeah, just let us know
Yeah,
on that.
it's yeah, dude. It's I don't know. I mean, nobody knows when. That's the key word. When it's gonna go back up,
Oh,
because it
nah.
will.
Oh,
It will.
there's some people that know. We're just not one of them. There's some people that know.
Oh. Oh fuck.
Paul Pelosi knows. Yeah, that's just fucking. Did you ever see
Oh
that fucking?
man.
There's an app that was fucking. You could follow Nancy Pelosi's stock buys or some shit
Yeah.
like. I
Crazy.
forget, but
Fucking
yeah, it's
crazy.
fucking wild, man.
But I know this happened in your building, sort of the same thing. But it happened in Nate's building recently. And and this is where we came up with the idea with, do some drivers need to be supervisors? And there was a driver that went to become an on-road supervisor and just got denied or didn't make it. I don't know what they're qualifying. Like, do they qualify? Like, I don't fucking know what it takes to be a supervisor. But like,
I think you have to do a 30. It used to be you would have to do a 30-day qualifying just like we do. It used to be that way.
Interesting.
I don't know if it still is or not. I mean, that's been a long time when I heard that.
Yeah. So, so this guy didn't qualify. And then like literally like not even a week later, he's applying to be the next shop steward in the building.
Very,
and,
very.
He's going around like trying to get the votes. And then whatever happens after he gets the votes, it goes to the panel up over like whatever, like up at the Union Hall, like something along those lines. It's
I think
like
to go from that end.
what's the play there? Like what's the play there? Like, is the play like, is he looking for some sort of power?
It
To
could
be in like
be.
a power move? Like, oh, okay, let's try supervisor. No, that didn't work. Okay, let's try shop steward. Like, is it a position of power for this person? Or is it pay? Like, do shop stewards don't get paid any
Shop
extra?
stewards don't get paid, no. And I was
Right.
going to say, for me personally, I don't think to even call it the power. I have no desire ever to be a fucking shop steward. I commend
Dude, I give
the
those guys
two. Yeah, I
give
commend
those
the
guys
ones we
props.
have,
Yes.
but no way in hell would I want to listen to. I would be terrible at it. Just like I'd be a terrible supervisor on rail. I would be fired and be fucking done because I'd be like, oh, fucking bullshit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'd be good in a lot of ways, but I'm also one of them people that think you got to try to attempt to work together sometimes and not try to fucking fight everything constantly. But it, but yeah, they do not get any type of pay incentive. Just
No.
you obviously know the contract and stuff. But I could say for this guy, I don't know who this dude is, and it could be genuine, but it just doesn't you're trying to be a supervisor and now you're going to be a shop. You're applying for that, and like
Yeah,
you're
it's a-
literally going.
it's a
That's so
rough look.
far one extreme to the other. But
Yeah.
what had happened at my building was the opposite of. I'm not going to say his name because he's a friend.
That's fine.
Anybody locally in my building that would hear this would know who this is. I'll say the other guy's name because I mentioned him before anyway. But it was a kind of a flip flop situation with me. We had a driver that was trying to be a shop steward and got voted down, and like 2 weeks later was a supervisor on road, and then became a dispatcher, and ultimately lost his job because I'm just going to say, like I said, this is no disrespect to this guy, and this is why his name will stay quiet. I always thought he was a good man. I still think he's a good man. The reason I didn't vote for him to be our shop steward is the simple fact that he was a cut corner driver, bigger than shit. He cut his break. He didn't take his lunch. He did so much shit you're not supposed to do. And I feel like if you're a shop steward, dude, you gotta fucking be by the book. You can't be fucking cutting corners and doing shit that they're gonna get other people in trouble for.
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing the same fucking thing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like sheeting. I told you that with that boutique I used to fucking deliver to when I was a cover driver, and they had 14 CODs. And because when I was a cover driver, I would follow this guy some after a route he would run. And they were like, the owner of this place came in when I carried him in because I had to put him on a cart. I had a dolly because there was too many for me to carry at once. And she was pissed and said she watched this driver open up the overhead door, scan every fucking thing back there, shut the overhead door, and drive off. And when she went to track it, all the CODs said no money. They were non-delivery, didn't have a check. She had all the checks ready, and she fucking watched him do it. And I'm like, dude, yeah, I love you, but you can't be. I was like, as a shop steward, no fucking way. And ultimately, you know, if you cut, you know, that's what cost him on the other side. And like I said, I still think he's a good dude. I've always considered him, if I would see him, I've seen him after we've talked and everything's cool. Not a mention and I've never mentioned anything about what happened to him. It was in another center what that had happened, so he didn't lose his job. He started with us and went to another place, and then that had happened. But
I got you.
But yeah, so it was kind of the opposite of what Nate is doing. But the other thing I want to touch on is I put like drivers, the unofficial term of drivers acting like like so we have I'm in a fantasy football group chat of drivers in a fantasy league I'm in, and one of them took a personal day today for to watch the Masters, and apparently one of our other drivers, I guess, must have been on his route, I'm assuming. I never did ask that.
Mm-hmm.
And he sent us screenshots of shit he was saying and just basically talking shit. I mean, it went way deeper than what I'm going to go, but I'm just going to say with talking shit about this guy taking a day off. Like I said, this is what happens. Like I decided to take off to watch golf or something like that. And I'm like, boy, that sounds awful fucking management-y to say to somebody. Like, dude, this is a fucking coworker, a driver. We all get PTO days. We all get personal days. We all get sick days. If you fucking if you can't be mad at somebody, if they got days to fucking use, you have days to use too. Don't be the fucking unofficial fucking management person and try to shame somebody for using a fucking PTO day. And who cares what they want to do it for? If you have the fucking day, do what the fuck you want.
Let him use a day.
Yeah. If you're going to watch golf, watch golf. If you're going to fucking be a philanthropist and do a lot of good in that day, great. Do what you want to do, man. But it's fucking, yeah, that drove me crazy. And like I said, it went a lot deeper than I'm going to go on here. But dude, it literally was all day. He was fucking messaging. I don't know what to say. I was fucking taken back by that. I don't like to fucking talk to people too much, but man, I'll just say this. This dude wouldn't even participate in our practice strike. When we were about to do the strike authorization stuff, he sat on a chair right in front of the building and watched us. He didn't even participate in the fake strike. So I hate to say it, but I'd say he probably would have crossed some picket lines. But dude, but he's another guy. I don't have a problem with him. I've always gotten along with him fine. I don't know him that well, but damn, when I saw these messages, I was like, what the fuck? That was, I don't know if he's going to hear this or not. I'm not even going to say your name, but you know who you are if you hear this in my building. There's more and more drivers in my building that are listening to the podcast now. I've noticed that. I've gotten, it used to be, it used to be it would take
Shout out to West by God, Virginia.
yeah, dude. It used to be
go.
when we would have something extreme. Like I remember I found out a lot of people shout out to Porno Parcel to RJ, his very first episode, all those fucking years back, you know, when we were in the teen episodes then, and
Yeah.
and I mean Bobby was still with us, but that was when you know RJ revealed to us of, you know, with Kiki, his wife, and what she does for a living, and being in the adult content, adult film industry. And so that was the time when I realized there were people listening, because I had like 4 drivers come up to me and be like, hey, hey, what's that guy you had on? What's his wife's name? I'm like,
Fuck.
ooh. I was like, why do you want to know his wife's name? What are you gonna do with that information? You gonna go to the spank bank? But yeah, it's like, I swear, dude. Yeah, that was the first time I remember people telling me, like, yeah, it was so weird, so nonchalant. It wasn't weird. It was funny.
Yeah,
What was weird was
awkward.
the way that they were saying it. Like, what do you know? What's her name? And at that point, I don't even know if I knew Kiki's name yet. I don't know if I knew. I don't think I even knew her. I don't
What's
know
her OF?
I don't know if I don't remember if he'd mentioned it or not the very first episode. I can't remember, but yeah, that was how I first discovered. I was like, oh, so you motherfuckers are listening. Good. Thanks for thanks for telling me. Now it took till we had a guy that, you know, had his wife you can find on Pornhub and stuff, and you're gonna that's what it took for you to finally ask a question. So fucking be it. Shout out to RJ and Kiki, two of the fucking two good
Awesome
people and
people.
long time friends of the podcast.
Oh yeah,
especially RJ. I think RJ is our most. He's still the most person we've had on the most. And shout out to Lars Cast, because if you haven't listened to the most recent thing, if you want to hear a current episode of RJ, go over to Lars Cast, and he had some banger stories. So I would highly recommend that if you've not tuned into that yet.
Yeah. Word.
God, man.
Well,
I was going to say, let's go ahead and get into the question of the week, because this other one in the doc, I'll just tell after we're done, because this will roll right into the question of the week. I got a good story for you.
Hell yes. So let me see here.
I'm a lot more because I'm not trying to multitask. We're not live this time, so I'll actually be able to keep up. I was fucking up these questions so bad trying to see which ones were what.
Yep. So this question of the week, shout out to you guys, everybody there in All In Nation commenting on here. Thank you all so much. Here we go.
Absolutely.
This question of the week is, what is your hobby outside of work? And let's see what All In Nation had to say, shall we? This one's from Gimme More Cosplay. What's up, more? Says, I like dressing up as anime characters and then compete against other people dressing as anime characters to see who has the best handmade costumes.
I won't say spoiler alert, but I saw that one coming. But I do want to say with some of these costumes that I have seen, either that she has made herself or ones she has showed, when the handmade, dude, it's pretty fucking impressive. It's
Very
like,
impressive.
yeah, I mean, the detail that goes into some of that stuff,
Yes.
it's an art form, man. It really
I mean,
is.
she's even talked about it to like, bedazzling them with like jewels and shit like that. And can you imagine just taking a single jewel and just going one here, one there, one there, one like
Dude, I'm a
takes time,
terrible
man.
artist. I would fuck that up in 30 seconds. I'd probably quit in 30 seconds trying to do that. They wouldn't be in sequence. I can promise you that. They'd be all over the place.
This next one is from Art Gecko Studios. That's past guest Jeffrey Chandler. Shout out to
What's
Jeff.
up?
Jeff
Yeah.
says, collect comic books and host a podcast discussing movies at TMI Podcast. Yes, if you guys are a movie buff, movie nerd, whatever you want to call it, go check out Jeff's podcast. He is also a fellow UPS driver as well. You can check him at TMI Podcast.
And you were
So
on that for a minute, right? Did you do that?
yes,
That's what I thought you were.
yes.
Okay.
This one here is from Cameron. Cameron says, disc golf. Good excuse to hike out in nature and enjoy the outdoors at your own pace.
Very good. I like that.
I've always wanted to get into disc golf, and we actually have a disc golf course over in this area that's like close by. And my history of throwing oh my God, I can't talk. My history of throwing frisbees is just not good. Not good.
Well, I can say that I didn't do it myself a lot, but to the last episode when I talked about that second job I had, that was the minimum wage job that I had. I basically cut grass and weed eated for the town that I worked in, the city of Fairmont, and where our it wasn't a warehouse, but like kind of where our spot was, if you will, where our building where we would meet and go to work was in a park, and they had disc golf stuff, and there was a lot of people that played, and it looked fun as shit. So I've never actually done it myself, but yeah, it looks like it'd be a fucking blast.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, and like it gets crazy, I guess. Like they got different sizes, I think, and like like they have like in golf it'd be considered like irons and shit and like woods. Like like one's like they have ones that can fly further than the other for those long distance like ranges.
Right.
Like it gets I don't want to call it like wacky, but like like it gets crazy, I guess. It gets pretty serious. But yeah. Anyways, next one here is from Old Baldbeard Bastard. Says, back in the day, I used to race quads. Goddamn, do I miss that adrenaline rush. Nowadays, it's sitting in the garage, drinking beer, watching the grass grow so I can mow it.
That's so good. Oh, dude. It's so that's when you know you're getting older. I cut my grass last week. I snuck it in. I was so satisfied because it rained the next day. God, that was a good one, Dusty.
This next one is from Swollen Gorilla. What's up, Swollen Gorilla? Says, screenwriting and watching wrestling, or shall I call it sports entertainment. I also dabble in the occasional shooting range activities. Nice.
That's a well-versed.
Just standing there, watching it, all of a sudden, pull! Fucking... Yeah, dude.
I'll tell you, man. Yeah, that
Shooting
can get
some clay
away from
pigeons.
you. You'll be fucking your shoulders. That can make your shoulders sore in a hurry, but it is fun.
Ah, yeah. Yes, it is. This next one here is from Union Box Smashers. What up, UPS? Says, I meticulously... I just lost it. Where'd it go? There it is. Sorry. I meticulously iron and fold every single plastic grocery bag I've ever brought home. I'm talking corner to corner precision, military grade creases, sorted by store, size, and opacity. I even have a binder full of my rare ones, limited edition Target seasonal prints, discontinued logos, and one mysterious translucent bag that I swear wasn't there the night before. It's therapeutic, really. Some people do puzzles. I archive plastic bags like I'm curating a museum exhibit titled Late Stage Capitalism, The Crinkle Chronicles. I've even named a few. Don't judge me unless you felt the crisp snap of a perfectly folded Ralph's bag under a full moon. There's beauty in the madness.
The only thing I'm curious of was, wouldn't they melt if you iron them? Wouldn't you? If you iron, like, I'm thinking about shitty plastic. God, I'll have a whole thing wadded up plastic bags under my sink, and wouldn't they melt if you iron? If you like, am I missing something with that? Union Box Smasher, Smasher 1. This is the second week in a row you fucking blown our fucking minds. So I just want to
Who
say,
are you?
I just want to say this. I want to say this. Her first job was holding an ice cream cone while parents just berated their kids so they could use both hands and go do
Whoop some ass.
Dude, I don't care. I mean, everybody has their hobbies, and I'm
the
not
hell?
judging because, like I said, I was better for a long time, and I wish I'd have been ironing plastic bags because I'd probably have a lot more money in stock right now. But I'm fascinated because I would assume that would melt.
Yeah.
A plastic, like the Target bags, plastic. I just feel like it would. Maybe no. I mean, I would melt it. I'm going to have to try this.
I'm
Or
interested.
make Ashley try it because I'll fuck it up. Yeah, do you think it would melt?
God. I don't know. Again,
Shit.
blown minds. This one here is from GirlDad8704 says the beach, gym, and extreme hikes. Meat on my smoker. Nice.
Yep, he's a.
Nice.
I knew he smoked some meat, man. He's a meat
Yes.
smoker.
This next one is from Erky32. Says going to the gym, hiking, sometimes grilling steaks on certain occasions. Very
Nice.
back-to-back similar responses there. Like it.
I do.
This one here is from Rick Star, our one and only DHL driver, says, staying home cleaning, watching Formula One, MotoGP, and wrestling. Checking out cafe shops where I live, going to pop punk shows when my favorite bands are in town. Hell yes.
Nice.
This next one is from Starla. What's up, Starla? Starla says, going to concerts or sporting events. Mostly baseball.
There you go, man.
Nice.
There you go.
This one here is from Brad Mosier. Brad says, now that I'm single, I like how you snuck that in there. My hobbies outside of work include sleeping, hanging with the kids, and getting abused by Latinas as many times a week as possible.
There you go, Brad. It's good to have. I mean, yeah, he's right there. He's right in the wheelhouse.
You guys hear that? Brad's a single man.
And if you're a Latina,
check him out.
you better just know you're in trouble. God, I love
Next
you, Brad.
This next one here is from that dude, Luke in says, podcast, test software on decentralized protocols, paintball, and send copper jacketed freedom seeds downrange. My wife says I have too many hobbies. Well,
Copper jacketed freedom seeds, aka if anybody was to be stumped by it, I'm assuming they're probably not gun people, but that's bullets.
but listen, real quick, if you guys,
I'm glad I know what you're about to say. Go ahead, because I was thinking the same thing.
If you guys are into paintball, all right, I recommend following this account. And this is my cousin Nate. If you guys have been listening for a long time, Nate used to do the audio for us for a
long time,
probably 75 plus episodes.
Yeah.
So Nate's also very big into paintball as well, and he's starting his own business called Conscious Paintball, and it's conscious _ paintball, and he's making headbands. I guess headbands are a very popular thing in the paintball world, and he's making his own headbands, some other apparel as well. So go give Conscious Paintball a follow, please, and go and check out his products too. He's going to be starting to sell them soon as well. So that dude Luke, go and check that out, huh? Speaking of paintball, so just have to get a quick shout out to my cousin there.
And to give a plug in there for Luke, Those Three Dudes podcast.
That's
what he's got in
right.
there.
Go check that podcast out as well. I can't talk, dude. It's getting late. Next one is from I Am Lars. What up, Lars? Like Luke just shouted out the Lars Cast. He enjoys doing Lars Cast, and shout out to you boys for kicking ass and all the support you both have given me. Thank you, brother.
Well, thank you, brother.
Appreciate the kind words, man.
You're a good
keep
man.
It up too
keep
as well.
going. Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself.
That's right. This one here is from John Hilligus on Hilly on the Go. Says, travel, especially cruising. A bad day on a cruise ship is better than a good day at work.
I mean,
amen.
Can't argue that, dude. That's a solid bet.
That's it. Last but not least here, this one's from Willflow81 says, I collect action figures, play video games, read comics, and take photos of my action figures.
Nice.
Interesting.
I've seen
That's
so
cool.
He's got some, but did I miss it, or did you read Rocky Mountain Rots in Ben Eagersoll? Did you read those, or did I miss? I just
no.
They were, because I was looking at John Hilligus's, and they were two below him on my page. But
why don't I see it? That's weird.
I mean, I know it's normally, if you want me to
read it
them,
off,
I
bud.
can. So I'm going to do in true old school Dave fashion with the names, because this first one I'm going to probably fuck up is Ben. I think it's Eagersoll 3 said, blasting as fast as I possibly can through the middle of the desert in my canned ham X3 and glamping and dabbling in the truck driving rodeos. So that is Ben.
Oh, I see him here now. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. You got Rocky Mountain Rots? You gonna get that?
Sure. Rocky Mountain Rot says, my main hobby is cars. In particular, my 1981 Volkswagen Diesel Rabbit.
Nice.
And my new project, a 1973 BMW 2002. Also collect way too many Hot Wheels and play a little video games. Nice.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Hell no. And last but not least is from PNW_UPS man says, I smoke meat and brew my own beer. Yo, sick.
Classic. I love it.
Dude, I've always thought about that, like brewing my own beer. Well, brewing my own beer and making my own hot sauce. I would love to make my own hot sauce.
Fuck, dude. Yeah, now.
Oh, man.
I know it'd be a banger, because I know you're a hot sauce connoisseur. That'd be a...
Fuck yeah. Love me some hot sauce.
Well,
shout out to you guys at All In Nation for commenting.
What
on the question of the week?
What I know you were talking about hot. I know one thing. I don't want to say it for you, but if you don't say it, I'm going to say it for you. So I'll go ahead and let you go first, though, because you got one for sure when you do it.
Oh, a hobby?
Yeah.
God, you go first.
Well, I was. I'll just go ahead with the only thing I really do now is with sparring, and that was kind of where when Dave said the Rocky story, I don't actively fight anymore. I don't do anything that's like official. I just spar with some guys I work with and some other people on Sundays, and I just do it to stay in shape, and it's something that I love to do. And it's like one of those things that if you love to do it, it makes more sense, because a lot of people are like, dude, I don't know how you could do that if you get fucking hit somebody in the face, because they would make them mad, or you know what I mean? And it's like, I get how it sounds odd, but it is something that I do love to do, and I know it's something that I'm not going to be able to do forever. And it's I still in the back of my mind think I could do one last amateur fight and would be fine, because I work out to it's different working out than actually being out there, and that's kind of the story that I'm going to tell, because I did a lot of them when I was nothing, all amateur shit, just a few small amateur fights and a lot of tough man contests. And tough man contests are just basically tournament style fucking amateur fights. Like if you would watch Rough and Rowdy, if you've ever seen that on Barstool, kind of the same thing. Only Rough and Rowdy, they just do like the one match. The Tough Man contests were always tournament formats. You would always fight. You would fight on Friday, and if you would win on Friday, you would come back on Saturday, and however many would be left, you would just fight till you would fight till either you lost or you would win the damn thing. So normally, the heavyweight division that I was in at the time, they've added some different weight classes, but the one I fought in was 185 to 400 pounds, big fucking spread, and I probably weighed. I mean, when I played football and shit. The first Tough Man I did, I was still playing football. I was actively playing, and I was like 280 then. But by this time, this was some years later, and I had lost a lot of weight and was in a lot better shape. But I wasn't 280 anymore, and I didn't have quite the power that I'd had at that point either. But like I said, this was a 185 to 400 pound class, so I had one on Friday, and it's actually funny to give this little side story because I'm going to tell you this part because this is actually a hilarious thing. When you go in on Friday, you got to get a physical. They do your height, weight, they take your blood pressure, make sure you're not going to drop dead out there and, find what, so you're kind of in there and you're just in this gym and you're talking amongst people. It's not like, you don't have any ill will towards people. So it's not like a tense situation. You know what I mean? It's not like you're getting in like a real fight. You know what I mean? Where a street fight or something like that.
Yeah.
So you don't like have any ill will towards these guys. So there's always like a lot of, at this point I had done like 3 of them. So I was kind of experienced and I'd never seen anybody act like this. This fucking guy came in, had like the tap out gear on and had a fucking toboggan that was like barely fucking almost covering his eyes. And he stood up in front of us and he fucking took his shit off and he said, "I'm ready. I want to fight the fucking baddest motherfucker here because I'm like we're all looking at each other like, who the fuck?" So who draws this guy? Who draws this guy night one? And I fucking whipped his ass, but that's not the story. That's not the story that I'm going to tell you because the second night I unfortunately wasn't able to whip this guy's ass. So I told you 220. I'm fighting a guy. So I played football, and we would have these Pennsylvania schools come down out of conference games and just whip the shit out of us. And it was Slippery Rock University and Cal PA University, and they used to play at school. Like they played Edinburgh, and that's where this dude was from. In Edinburgh, he told me that he played at Edinburgh, and he was down here coaching one of the colleges now because he was out of school. And when he said Edinburgh, I was like, fuck, that's the teams that used to beat the shit out of the teams that would come beat the shit out of us. So I was like, I knew this guy was an athlete. And I was thinking, this guy moves well and he's huge. And I'd watched him because you fight the second night, like I said, till you lose. So I'd seen this guy just annihilate somebody because I'd won my first match and he had won his. And dude, when you get into a situation like this where it's one-on-one, I'd say it's probably the same in like amateur wrestling. I didn't wrestle in high school or anything, but your nerves are fucking going through the roof because if you fuck up, everybody's going to know it because it's not like a team sport where you're playing football or fucking basket, where you can fucking maybe hide your fuck up amongst people. If you fuck up, the people are going to see it. And I knew I couldn't fight this guy toe to toe. He was just too big, too fucking strong. He was like I said, he was probably 280, 290, just brick fucking shithouse. Sweetheart of a guy, but hardest I've ever been hit in my life was by this dude. And I'm talking bare fist, anything else, and this is where I'm going to end the story on because I had to move with this guy. I circled him, just fucking tried to jab and cross him. I knew I couldn't fucking, like the rounds, there's 3 1-minute rounds, so you don't have a lot of time. I'm like, I could fucking try to dick around. The crowd might not like it, but I knew I wasn't going to be able to fucking really stay toe to toe with this guy. So in my corner peripherals, I just happened to see the ropes, my left side, and I look quick to my right, and I see the ropes, and right then, it's just like in my head, it was like slow motion. I went, "Oh fuck, I'm not supposed to be in this quarter." Right when I just see an onslaught, this fucking mammoth of a dude just fucking wailing on me. I'm talking, hits me so fucking hard, I felt like I backflipped, and somehow I didn't fall over. And at the end of the round, it fucking dinged, and we went back out, and fucking by that time, the next 2 rounds I kind of went a little more aggressive. I mean, he fucking did basically the same shit, but I never fell over. And he asked me afterwards. It's like first 2 fights, he just knocked people out, and he fucking asked. He was mad. He was pissed. He was like, "Dude, I hit you so fucking flush twice. How did you not fall over?" And I'm like, still kind of woozy. I'm like, "Dude, I got hit by a car and totaled it. I I was like, I don't know what to tell you, man."
I could take a beating. God
But yeah, that was my Rocky story. And that man, that dude, Jesus. I mean, I don't spar like sparring now. If you hit some, like, kind of the unwritten rule is if you hit somebody hard or actually catch them, you step back. You know, you don't like I have. So I don't fight I don't box like that anymore. But God, that story always is yeah, that's my Rocky story. Unfortunately,
That's good.
I lost that one.
I mean, it's a good story.
Oh, dude, yeah. It's just weird because of the time. Like, it felt like it took. Like, I know it happened fast when people were watching it, but when I looked at the ropes and then looked at the ropes on the other side, it literally was like in my mind. It was like time stopped, and I was like, "Oh no, this isn't good." And then, like, I looked at it, like, "Oh, there it is. It is."
Gosh. Yeah, I mean, I would say my hobbies are spending time at at home.
Dude,
Because we work so damn much. No,
get
no, no, like my hobbies. I mean, obviously the cliche thing would be like, spending time with my family. Yes, obviously, we all love spending time with our families and spending time with our kids and whatnot. But I mean, I do dabble on the video games. I will always be a kid at heart when it comes to that. I feel like I'm gonna be like a fucking 75-year-old man grandfather playing video games. Like, that's how I feel. You know what I mean?
Our generation just fell from, like, we
Like,
basically
we
been there
grew
from,
up
yeah.
on that shit.
We've
Like,
seen basically everything. I mean, aside from Atari, because it was a little bit before our time. But we've
Right.
talked about this before. I remember playing Atari.
Oh, yeah.
But like from Nintendo on, dude, we've been around. So yeah, like they're gonna fucking, your grandkids are
Yep.
gonna be like, "Pap, tell us what Nintendo was like." We're gonna be like, "Listen, I'm gonna tell you about when you had to blow in the cartridges to make the motherfuckers work, son. You have no idea."
Like you're playing the flute.
Yeah.
Fucking-
Yeah, right.
Yep. Yep. Oh yeah, dude.
You know what I was gonna
100%.
say. You did.
No, well, yes. So it's that. Sorry, it's that, and I mean, I have a new hobby coming up besides podcasting. But
I wasn't even going to. I can't believe you're going to say this. You're still not saying what I'm going to say.
no, but like, it's not out there yet. But we're literally like this Sunday, or as people are listening, this happened the Sunday before. But we're actually building it. We're gonna be building like the studio for it. And like Luke was talking about me being like a hot sauce connoisseur. I actually have plans to start up a YouTube show with 2 buddies of mine. That's going to be all focused around like sauces, whether it be hot sauce, dressings, whatever it may be, barbecue sauce, like any type of sauce, dip, like anything, like all that delicious, good, just delicious stuff. And it's going to be kind of like a foodie type of show, I guess, in a way. But that's going to be fun. That's not out yet, so I'm not going to go too much into it. But but I'm looking forward to that one as well. Doing the podcast and then doing a YouTube show would be it's gonna be a blast. But what were you gonna say?
Dude, you totally didn't even mention softball, man. I can't believe
Oh, yeah.
you're just shafting your softball team right now.
Oh, dude. Sorry, guys. But no, yeah, dude. I mean, that is definitely it. That is my like summer. It's like my summer hobby.
Yeah, we're not in the
You know?
season yet. You put a thought about
Yeah,
it.
we're close. I think our first game's in the beginning of May, usually. But yeah, no, softball every Wednesday night. That is my like, that is my summer thing to do. That's my summer one night thing, and yeah, fucking love that. Love that. So, but anyways, man, I think that's gonna wrap it up for this episode. Like we said, guys, AITD Pod, patreon.com/AITD Pod. Come join the Patreon family. Come throw $1 at our faces. Come support the show. More importantly, go to patreon.com/AITD Pod. Use promo code AITD50 for 50% off. Also the Discord link as well. The Discord link will be in the episode notes here. So come join the Discord. Like I said, we're having a good time over there. It's, people are chatting it up. People are posting pictures. It's a good time. So come join that for sure. Yeah, that's really all I think I got, buddy. So awesome. Guys, I'm Dave, my co-host Luke. Y'all be safe out there. Have a great week. We will see you guys next week.
Later, everybody.